Hello and welcome, boys, girls and Dota players. This is Tom bringing you another pubcast. It's been a very long time since my last video. I've been otherwise occupied with real world things and just generally being too busy. Um, I'm bringing you a game that's 6.1k MMR. I think, yeah, it was close to that anyway. And we're just jumping in at the end of the hero picks. We'll get into the game and I'll walk you through the teams. So on the Radiant side, we've got Invoker, Undying, Beastmaster, Witch Doctor, and Spectre.
Prepare for
Pretty conventional team, basically, nothing hugely out of the ordinary. And then you jump over to the Dire side. We can have a look. We've got Enchantress, Lone Druid, Earth Spirit, PL, and Vengeful Spirit. So we'll interesting to see where all the lanes go, what items are purchased initially. You can just have a look. You've got PLs getting a few shared tangos, Invoker's got a couple. Teams generally looking to help out their cause, which is always a good thing. It's nice to see that happens at some level of pub play. A few sentries also purchased on the Dire side, you've got none on the Radiant, so they could get a pretty heavy early game advantage, or they'll use them to stop the Enchantress jungling. Nope, ignore that, Enchantress is on their side. They could, who knows, they could be griefers, they could be after stopping their own teammate jungle. So we'll see what happens at the rooms, whether there's any contest, or they, looks like it might be going Radiant getting both runes here, because Bane was doing a pretty good job of distracting. Yep, it is, double rune, so Beastmaster and Invoker get bounty. It's a pretty valuable XP and gold head start, especially when you're in the mid lane and your mid laner does not get it. Invoker has started with Exhort, so he's obviously got Sunstrike ready to go. Shouldn't trouble PL too much. I would expect PL to get a fair bit of help from Enchantress once she's got a couple of creeps, or even Earth Spirit just hanging about in his lane. If there's any early action anywhere, bit of an animal lane. Up the top you have Beastmaster and Lone Druid. Boar versus Bear, see what happens. Undying does have Tombstone at level 1. And Enchantress looks to be harassing with the Wildkin Ripper's Tornado. Witch Doctors are doing the right thing and interrupting it. Does, however, then get initiated upon. There is TPs going down to help him. He shouldn't fight. Oh, there's some good salve. Probably get his team in first blood. And he survives. He does. What a good timing with that salve. Was able to get it off and didn't die. They may even still be able to chase down Enchantress. No. Tombstone isn't up, obviously. It's fallen down. Spectre doesn't have the mana for a Spectral Dagger. A Spectre ported to the lane. No, it didn't. Undying ported to the lane. I'm going crazy. Was very unlucky by the Dire side. The auto attack was going to kill Witch Doctor. Luckily enough that he was able to pop that healing salve and get the much needed, probably 60 or 70 health that was to keep himself alive and get his team first blood. Doesn't look like we're missing anything else anywhere. Enchantress, while being involved in that initial fight, is still leading in last hits, but only slightly, and at this point in the game, it's very insignificant.
regeneration.
Got a couple of heroes rotating into mid. Earth Spirit, as I suspected, will be here to try and give Invoker a bit of problems.
Denied.
And Vengeful Spirit's just hanging about as well to let Invoker know that he's not going to have a fun time. I'm pretty sure Earth Spirit just got a D ward there with his Tango. Yeah, it's an extra long Tango regen, so that is what happened. I missed the ward there, but he did get it. Invoker probably should have caught a glimpse of Vengeful running through the trees just then, so he should be aware that they're still trying to get around him in that top lane. Meanwhile, Beastmaster is not having the easiest time in the top lane, but is still getting a fair amount of CS for an offlaner. The double boars has always helped. And it does look like, thanks to the Undying porting bot earlier to help secure the kill and first blood, they are going to stick with a tri-lane bot. Unfortunately, by aggroing the camp at the same time as all the creeps were there, the Satyr used the blast and hit all 3 of the Radiant heroes. Beastmaster salving up, so that is all of his regen gone. I'm not sure if he started with any tangos. Pretty sure I saw him with at least one Fairy Fire. Few rotations top. Invoker does have a haste, he does have Cold Snap Invoke, so it should be a kill on Lone Druid. Pretty convenient haste rune, also there's no wards to be able to see that he was coming. Actually, the Dive's wards are one in the middle to give a bit of high ground vision, and one bot lane. Slowly starting to put pressure on that top tower now that they were able to kill Lone Druid. They were able to push a little bit, use the boars.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Interesting to see. We've still got only a level 1 Tombstone. Does, however, have Soul Rip, so is able to top it up a bit if they decide to go. They have engaged. Tombstone has been put down. The boars are coming round. Vengeful Spirit is being affected by the slow. Lone Druid is there. Does get the very handy route onto Beastmaster. Beastmaster should fall. Vengeful Spirit will fall as well, but Undying is now stuck in the trees. And Earth Spirit did get the last hit on the Tombstone, which is a valuable 100 or so gold. Unfortunately, they let Undying out. He wasn't able to micro the bear, and Undying does get out. He should get, hopefully he gets a root off. Earth Spirit does land the slow, and then there's a root, and it will be a kill. Does pop the Fairy Fire to take a little bit more time. Could have just left the bear to stop Undying it out. Doesn't matter, they got the kill anyway. Bit of action going on down bot. Spectre can dagger Enchantress, but as Enchantress has leveled 3 levels of Untouchable, I don't see them being able to kill her anytime soon, at least until Witch Doctor has that Death Ward up and about. Have a look at the CS again. Spectre and Invoker are leading the way, both from the Radiant side, with Enchantress not far behind.
All things fall.
In terms of the mid lane though, mid lane matchups, there are only 4 different. Invoker does have a lot of denies though. Safe lane farm. Spectre's on 33 versus 26, so it's not that different at this stage in the game. There's a smoke rotation into mid. Invoker doesn't have high ground vision, so Vengeful Spirit has walked to the low ground anyway. The stun does reach. Vengeful Spirit should get the stun off as well. Helpmate does, and there should be an Invoker falling. Very good pick off. Will they continue? They kill the Tombstone, get that gold, get any danger out the way, and they take out Invoker. Very good rotation, very handy smoke, very good stun by Earth Spirit to hit it at such long range. So Undying's placed the ward there, hoping to not let that happen again, give him a bit of higher ground vision. They would have been able to see Vengeful Spirit poured in. A bit of Ingoa, and there's a root top lane, and that'll be Beastmaster dead. Vengeful Spirit securing it with the stun. This Earth Spirit and Vengeful Spirit combination rotating around the map is starting to cause the Radiant side a fair bit of problems. Chartridge and Spectre just having a farm fest in the bot lane. As I said before, there's not really much I can do about it. Untouchable is a pretty strong spell. at this stage of the game anyway, till items come into play, till spellcasters start to do their thing.
Haste.
Jump over to the net worth now, see what's going on. 2 die heroes leading the net worth. Not sure is Lone Druid. Lone Druid is picking up the Midas. I'm not sure if he's purchased it yet. There it is on the courier, so he's getting that brought over to him now. And I would dare say he would then start making his way straight towards the Radiance. Gonna have a look at the other item pickups. Sorry, just making sure I don't miss anything. So you've got the Midas on the Bear, the Urn on Spectre. Looks like Invoker is also going for a Midas, just hasn't had as good a time as Lone Druid, so wasn't able to pick it up as early. Otherwise, nothing else of note at the moment. There's another gank in mid, another Earth Spirit stun. There's a Spectre Horn, Witch Doctor Cask. They should be able to get a couple here. The Cask is bouncing, the Tombstone is down. Peel does get up onto the high ground. The Peel should die, Peel does die. Enchantress has rotated in as well. Witch Doctor has got his heal channeling. Enchantress actually got herself into a real dangerous position now. Beastmaster does have his ult. He's that untouchable, but look at the Cask bounce between the Creep and Enchantress. They've gone deep here in mid. Will they be able to pick up Vengeful Spirit? Spectre's gonna fall. They've gone far too deep. The Urn Charge does kill Vengeful Spirit. Very good port out by Undying, knowing that he wasn't going to be able to run out. Enchantress does get out as well. Beastmaster, I think, smartly did hold his ult, because even if he did ult Enchantress, wasn't going to be able to auto-attack her down. So, there rotations from everyone just then, and it seemed to go well. We'll see who it went best for. Not really. A 600 gold advantage to the Radiant side. XP, very little. Damage done very similar. No massive spells expelled. Perhaps maybe Tombstone and Haunt. But they'll both be up relatively soon, probably before the next fight. Kill score is even at the moment. They should get the top tower. They've got Forward Spirits and Boars. Easy kill. Unfortunately, no one was able to grab the last hit there. Vengeful Spirit has started on Spectre. PL is causing a bit of problems for Witch Doctor. Obviously, there's not much Witch Doctor can do to a level 8 PL.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
Invoke is being chased by an invisible Earth Spirit. I'm sure he has no idea. So we'll see if they're able to push any more towers with the Boar Forge Spirit combo. They're not together at the moment. So that's not going to happen. So 1 tower apiece. I would say the Dire have the better tower. They've got the strategic mid tower, gives them a bit more room to play with, and they should easily get bot tower here. The Bear bashing on the tower with Enchantress and PL backing them up. There's a Courier. The Courier, Earth Spirit does get his ult off. Spectre Haunts in. There's a Sunstrike. It has missed. Vengeful Spirit, good rotation. Should be able to take out the Beastmaster with the Enchantress's help. Enchantress should take out Undying. Spectre is going to have to run. They should be able to take out the Tombstone and not have anything else to worry about. Spectre's gone back in. Spectre's staggered Vengeful Spirit. It does kill them and ports out. Just good play. Well done, Spectre. While that is happening though, you're seeing 2 towers being pushed. The tier 2 bot and the tier 1 mid. There was a high risk, high reward situation there for Spectre. Spectre was able to get the kill and port out. Probably about half a second away from dying to another Enchantress auto attack though. So again, we see the score has evened up. It's good to see a lot of rotations coming in when the fights start. It makes the fights a lot more interesting for us as viewers, but also means that the teams are helping out. They're not entirely playing their own game. You see another fight going on down bottom. Not really sure if anyone's going to commit. Earth Spirit can probably stun most of them in one stun if they stay together, and they all just disengage. Lone Druid is fast working towards his Radiance. He's got 3.1k in the bank, another 700 till he's got his Sacred Relic, and then it won't be long till he's purchased that recipe. And he'll start causing some real big problems. And in saying it, we have a look at what Spectre's going. Spectre does get initiated upon. Earth Spirit does have his ult up. That will be a dead Spectre. Invoker is trying to get in on the action. He does get the meatball off. He's taken out Earth Spirit. They won't be able to chase down PL. Tombstone has been committed.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
And while that was happening, Lone Druid does get the top tower, and that should be his Sacred Relic. He's 100 gold away. You'd expect to see him grab it right away. There's a Necro book picked up on Beastmaster. It's a bit of pushing power there. Not too long, 13-minute Necro book. That's acceptable in my books. Haha, see what I did there. So, as expected, Lone Druid's having a bit of free farm and has pulled away in the last hits department. Everyone else is reasonably close, with Invoker being the nearest. They do get another tower bot, so they do have significant tower advantage now, the Dire side. They've taken out all 3 tier 1s, and they do have the pushing power of Lone Druid and PL come a bit later. We've got a smoke rotation from Earth Spirit here. He was the only one that did get hit by that smoke. Oh, there could be an engagement here in mid. There's a Haunt used. Lone Druid, this Sunstrike, and Lone Druid should fall to the Spectral Dagger. Spectre, the right person gets the kill in that instance.
Illusion.
You could even see Undying was holding off his decay because he didn't want to take the kill away from the core. PL has picked up his Diffusal now. You'd probably assume he'd work his way into Travels next. Bit of an army pushing top here. I don't think the Dire are going to be able to do anything about this. They are all moving up pretty quickly. They are going to get scouted by a Witch Doctor Illusion. A tower will fall. Invoker gets last hit. The fight has started. Tombstone is down. Earth Spirit's roll gets interrupted, so he does get ult off and only on creeps. The cask throw was fantastic. Unsure whether that was intentional. Interrupts the Earth Spirit roll, which he would have got probably a 3 to 4 man ult off. And as quickly as that fight started, it ended with no deaths and 1 tower kill. We looked to have a massacre. It turned into nothing. We'll have a quick look at the hero levels. You see Witch Doctor's just hit his level 6. I don't think he had a chance to get his Death Ward off. I think perhaps... Oh no, he's been 6 for a while. So he probably did hit 6 before that fight. Oh, and he must have cast his Death Ward as it's on cooldown. And I've missed it entirely. So everyone's level 6 now. Should start to see some real interesting team fights. See what happens. Both teams have very reasonable team fights. PL's got picked up his travel, so he'll be able to be around the map. And so will Lone Druid with his bear, whether he's there with it or just sending the bear to push the waves with the Radiance. He has got the Radiance now. PL sneaks himself a double damage, just in the bottle, so could be used at any time. The Radiant are building towards pushing bot tower, I think, but the Dire seem to have other things in mind, and I'm going to let them do that. If you look at the warding here, you've got 0 wards out from the Radiant, whereas the Dire have quite the offensive wards, able to pick up a lot of what's going on in the enemy jungle, and 1 up in their jungle just to see if there's anything going on up there. Surely some of these wards are about to time out. No, they all seem pretty freshly purchased. Drum charges were just used there by someone. There's engagement in mid. Witch Doctor's going to fall.
It feels good to get that off my chest.
That's what happens when you've got a pretty significant vision. There is pinging on Roshan. They are rotating into Roshan. They should be able to get it very easily. Enchantress could walk in there and tank it with Untouchable, but when you've got the Spirit Bear, there's no need. This Roshan's going to fall uncontested. I think the only way they're going to scout it out is with a Sunstrike or a Haunt. But either way, I don't think it's going to be a fight they can take. They are going to pick a fight with PL here. Although PL's turning on Beastmaster. Beastmaster didn't get his ult off. He lost his mana too quickly. PL does fall, but takes one with him. And they pick up the Roshan. Didn't catch who got the Aegis. Lone Druid did, so... Lone Druid's got his second life for 5 minutes. So unfortunately, the Beastmaster didn't know which one to cast his ult on, and by the time he'd made his mind up, PL had burnt enough mana that there wasn't an ult to cast. So again, we're back at the scores are even. I do feel though, if you're looking at who's got the upper hand, I feel it's probably the Dire at this point in time. They are leading in net worth. Have a look at the graph overall, see which team is. So the Dire are well ahead, well 5,000 gold. They I would say predominantly that is, well it is essentially Lone Druid. And PL. Unfortunately, Witch Doctor is lagging behind. He's playing the basically position 4 and 5. He's not getting a lot of help from anyone else. Although Undying has picked up the mech, so that's a plus. He's got his mana boots. I assume he'll pick up the Guardian Greaves relatively shortly. Well, when he farms the money.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
There's a swap engagement there from Vengeful Spirit. Earth Spirit does get his ult off, but misses everyone again. There's a Haunt in a Beastmaster Roar on Earth Spirit. Earth Spirit dies. Vengeful Spirit's died after doing an offensive swap that didn't go very well. Will they chase the bear down? Invoker Sunstrikes, unfortunately he misses. And that's that fight over and done with. That's the second fight in a row now Earth Spirit hasn't actually ulted anyone. And the later the game gets, the less useful his ulti becomes. It's very handy early, and obviously it's still only level 1, so he's still got a bit of a power curve to hit. But it's very useful when he first gets it in the game. So Spectre's working their way towards a Manta style now. You can only assume that they're picking up the Ultimate Orb in a couple of hundred gold. Witch Doctor's on his way to an Aghanims.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Beastmaster's got the Necro
Radiant
3.
structures are fortified.
PL is doing the old split push. There is a rotation coming in to stop him from Invoker. PL is just porting straight out into the engagement. Undying will fall. And they are continuing on to Witch Doctor. Witch Doctor is going to have a hard time getting out of this one, especially with a hasted Lone Druid. Now with the Lone Druid, the Undying and the Witch Doctor dead for 20 seconds, they can put a tiny bit of high ground pressure. Also because they've still got the Aegis. I did completely forget that that's in play at the moment. Ice Wall being put down just to hold the push a bit. Spectral Dagger's going to help a bit. Their high ground defense isn't amazing. You could see a couple of tornadoes, perhaps an EMP to deter them. Unfortunately, Invoker has only got 1 level in Wex, so they're not going to be too potent. The high ground push is still going on whilst everyone's alive. The bear's beating away on that melee Rax. They'll have to back off though, and the melee Rax is probably going to regen. I don't think they're going to be in there and hit it again before it gets close to full health. Have I got any more of the item pickups? Anything interesting? You've got a Dragon Lance on Enchantress. You've got the Vlad's on Lone Druid. Aether Lens on Vengeful Spirit for those extra long range defensive and defensive swaps. Seems like Vengeful was pretty keen on the offensive swaps. Didn't go so well for them in the last engagement though. There's a smoke up here from the Radiant. See if they're going to be able to catch anyone out. Unfortunately, they're just sketching around in the river, and it seems like the Dire were very aware this was happening, or conveniently all decided to go back and shop at the same time. Pretty handy Hawk vision out and about. Spectre's nearly got the Ultimate Orb. Be interesting to see what they go after they get the Manta style. And that is the Aegis being reclaimed. 3 minutes till Roshan respawns. It's a pretty short respawn timer. It's 3 of the possible 8 after the Aegis claimed, I believe. Or I could have my Roshan timings completely wrong.
Gotcha.
So we got the Hyperstone picked up on the Bear. Obviously that should be moving into an Assault Cuirass. That's going to benefit both PL and Lone Druid significantly. They are moving in to rotate onto Spectre. They should be able to catch Spectre here unless Spectre haunts down 2 PL. Spectre does full, Enchantress does a lot of damage. Level 2 ult with the Dragon Lance can attack from quite the distance. And it was a good teleport interrupt by Earth Spirit. Earth Spirit has got some very good stuns this game. PL has engaged onto Beastmaster. Beastmaster does port out. You've got the Boars and the Necrobook doing some work on PL here. PL has no mana. If they're able to chase PL down, PL should fall. Get the Boar slow. PL gets enough mana with his bottle and does turn onto the Necrobook and get that handy gold. And while that was going on, there was a fight in mid, or just a barracks falling. So PL was enough of a distraction, along with Spectre being dead, for the melee barracks to fall. And Lone Druid has walked straight to bot lane. He's not going to have anything to do with that range barracks and start working on bot lane, which I think is a pretty sound move, as that range barracks will slowly fall with the melee creeps pushing into the lane. The Veil of Discord is on Earth Spirit, which is going to make his ult that extra potent, which is one of those items that you do like to get an Earth Spirit, because as I was saying before, his damage does start to fall off. His utility definitely doesn't, but the ult damage starts to be obviously less of an impact later in the game. The Veil is a useful tool to counteract that. PL's got his Manta style now too. He's probably had that for a little while. I missed the pickup. You've got PL and Lone Druid really getting ahead in net worth and only getting further ahead because they're getting the Raxes, they're getting the towers. They're pretty safely got the next Roshan, as there's no vision about the Radiant are currently essentially too scared to leave their base. So Spectre's got that ultimate orb up and running. Manta soon. Spectre is pretty far behind in terms of the core's farm. They're still poking at that range barracks. It is pretty handy gold if you're able to get that barracks for your team. Roshan will be about to spawn, and I assume that they may be on their way to check it now. No, but they do happen to be in the right area. They may just rotate and get him just as he spawned. They may not think to check it this early, as it was a very early Roshan spawn.
A gift from the goddess.
And Enchantress is going to check it. They'll all know that Roshan's up. There's no way it's going to be contested. It's going to be another essentially free Roshan to the Dire. So while we're looking at only a 1 kill difference on the kill score, it does start to look pretty good for the Dire side. But I don't want to speak too soon, because I reckon my predictions in the last 2 games I've cast have been completely backwards. I've said it looks good for this side, and they're the side that have ended up losing. Aegis is down, picked up by PL this time. They did scout it out with a Sunstrike. There was nothing they're going to do about it. It is a massive 14k net worth difference now. It's a pretty big bridge to climb. Bridge to cross, mountain to climb, whatever the term is for the Radiant here. A hurdle to jump. It's not going to be easy. But they do have the Death Ward, the Invoker, AoE spells. They are, however, have burnt their Fortify already, and it looks to be that the Dire are just going to brute force the base down. There is the Meteor. The Tombstone has been placed down. The offensive swap. Invoker does get the Yules off, keeps himself alive for a little bit. Unfortunately, the Death Ward started and is still only on illusions. Does have to cancel it, didn't get the full duration. Invoker's died, doesn't have a buyback. Don't think anyone's going to have buyback on
What next time?
It's
Radiant's middle
utter
barracks are
destruction at the
under
moment, and
attack.
there's a GG. It is a pub game, so they do actually need a finish.
Radiant's middle
Oh, and it
barracks
was the
has
winning
fallen.
team that's GG'd. And just like that,
Radiant's
the
top
game's over.
tower is under
Score is
attack.
only 3 kills different, but they're going to be mega creeps, and there wasn't much they could do about it.
Radiant's top tower
Really, if
has
we
fallen.
go back and look over this game while the game's
Radiant's
ending,
top barracks are under
Spectre
Radiant's top
did
barracks
not
has
have a lot of
fallen.
impact.
Radiant's
They were
top
able to get a
barracks
couple of
has
early
fallen.
kills with their
The
first
Dire
haunts,
now have
but at
Radiant.
no point did they really hit that power curve that you would expect from a Spectre. It still is only 28 minutes into the game. The Dire
Radiant's
have
middle tower has
done pretty
fallen.
well, finishing pretty early. Lone Druid
Radiant's
got his
middle
farm
tower
very
is
quickly,
under
picked
attack.
up an early Midas, got the Radiance very quickly.
Radiant's
PL had
middle
no
tower
problem farming
has
up his
fallen.
Diffusal. They got a couple of Roshans. Enchantress had an easy off lane. Got as much farm as you'd want in an off laner, and got a couple of kills. You look back into the mid lane, it was the PL Invoker. There were a lot of rotations from Earth Spirit, Vengeful Spirit that shut down the Invoker very hard. Invoker picked up that Midas, I think it was 5 or 6 minutes after Lone Druid. So there's your difference there. Lone Druid free farmed himself a Midas, Invoker had to struggle through a couple of ganks, and ended up only getting, half as many last hits. Basically, it was a hard life for Invoker. He didn't get as much help as PL, for example. Witch Doctor, you can't really blame him. He was playing the solid, hard position 5. Was doing all the warding. I have a little bit of sympathy for the supports because it's the role I like to play. So I'll always say that they did the exact thing they were meant to do and just had a hard time. Didn't get enough help from his teammates. No one bought wards for him. I could be wrong, but that's just my one-eyed support vision. So all in all, guys, that was a pretty good game. It was probably of better quality than the last few games I've cast. Hopefully I'm getting better as a caster, and the people, if there are any of you watching these games, you're enjoying them. I hope you are. I know a couple of my friends are watching them, and I hope you guys like them and you're not just saying it. Hopefully I can bring you another one sooner than 4 weeks apart. Again, sorry for the long break in games. Hopefully get another one up for you guys soon. Thanks for watching. And as always, if you have any comments, leave a comment. And if you want me to cast any of your games that you've played, you can email me or leave the match ID in a comment. Thanks and goodbye.